What is going on, everybody? My name is Prodigal Lion and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we're going to be talking about my tips on the best loadout you can use in Call of Duty World War II for SnD. I personally like to have certain loadouts for certain situations throughout and certain game modes, but SnD is probably the main game mode you really want to have a set division for that you only use for SnD, because it's going to be a little bit harder to just use a typical regular loadout. So the first thing I want to talk about in SnD in this game is SnD is more of a tactical type of game, and it's elimination. Obviously, it's 6 versus 6, and if you die, you're eliminated until the next round, and then you got to plant bombs. So you want to throughout this entire sequence of SnD, you really want to try to stay as low key and discreet as possible. In other Call of Duties, I would do my best to use dead silence and whatever other perks would be available that would keep me off of UAVs, off the radar, as quiet as possible. But in this game, in Call of Duty World War II, we don't have perks, we have divisions. And the only division that at all makes sense in Call of Duty World War II is the Mountain Division. Now, there'll be a couple things I say throughout this loadout tips that I will say that you can have some personal preference for, but when it comes to the division system, there is no such thing as personal preference for SnD. I mean, Mountain is the only logical way to go, and here's why. For one, ignore number 1, sniper sharpshooter does not matter, but number 2, 3, and 4 are very, very important. Number 2, if you have level 2 division ranking in Mountain, my bad, you will always be invisible to the enemy recon aircraft. So that's just pretty self-explanatory. If they throw their UAV or recon aircraft up into the sky, you will not show up on the map, and that's obviously very useful because SnD is the type of game where you, like I said, you want to stay very low-key and discreet as possible. So if you're always hidden off their recon aircraft that they put up, then that makes you invisible to them. So that's a very good one. If you have rank 3 Mountain Division, you will be hidden to player-controlled streaks. Now, if you're playing SnD, I feel like the two most likely options where this will be useful is if the enemy uses either a fighter pilot or a glide bomb, because what this is when they use those score streaks, if you've used them yourself, they have a red circle illuminating players on the field, because when you're shooting from the sky, it's hard to see an actual player, so they have them really obvious with big red circles. But if you have rank 3 Mountain Division, you're hidden to that. There won't be no red circle around you, making you pretty much invincible to that score streak, unless somehow they see you just with the naked eye, or they just somehow get lucky. More than likely, you will not be killed by a player-controlled streak in the sky. Now, number 4, if you have the rank 4 Mountain Division, you will have silent movement, and this is important in any Call of Duty, but especially in this Call of Duty World War II, because how loud your footsteps are in this game are atrocious, especially on certain maps such as USS Texas. They're really loud. Like a snowy map such as Ardennes Forest are really loud footsteps. They're really easy to hear. So something like silent movement is important in any game mode, but especially in search and destroy. You, like I said, stay as low-key and discreet as possible, and silent movement is by far probably the most important asset you will have playing SnD. So like I said, Mountain Division is the only way to go for a search and destroy. Next thing I want to talk to you guys about for basic training, this somewhat will have some personal preference to it, but if you have another personal preference other than this, which is Rifleman, which is my advice to you guys, you guys can, because the Rifleman is kind of the basis for the 2 weapons I'm going to have you guys choose. So if you have personal preference and want something different, then you can still kind of follow along with what weapons to choose, but it's not going to be the same. Now, the reason I recommend Rifleman is because I always like to have a longer range weapon and a closer range weapon. And yes, the pistol could suffice, because especially in this game, because the pistols are pretty good. But when you're going up rifles and SMGs, I don't know, especially in SnD, you don't really want to take the risk. You want to be as equally matched as possible, so that's why you want to be able to pick a primary weapon as your secondary. My bad. So the first thing I want to start off with is, like I said, it's always nice to have a long range weapon. And in most Call of Duties, what I do is I'll pick a 3-round burst rifle, such as like in Black Ops 3, there was the M8. But since this is World War II, there were no 3-round burst rifles back in those days. So you have to kind of adjust a little bit to that. And what I've found the most useful when it comes to a longer range weapon in World War II is either a semi-auto rifle, which is kind of iffy in this game because the semi-autos aren't that great. But you could go with either the M1 Garand, the SVT, or the M1A1 carbine. Those, you could go with one of those semi-autos. If you're really good with the LMG, I don't really highly recommend this, but they can still be useful. You can pick an LMG if you want. The Bren is my personal favorite. But like I said, I wouldn't really highly recommend an LMG. But I think probably the best recommendation I can give in this game specifically is a sniper rifle, and in my personal opinion, either the Karak, I don't know what you say, that Kar 98K or what, and then the M1903. Those are the two best snipers in my opinion. So pick a sniper rifle, or a semi-auto rifle, or an LMG. Those are like your three best options, but in my personal opinion, a sniper rifle is your best bet. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with this, and you can put like whatever attachments you want on here. It doesn't really matter that much. My two favorite are the ballistic calibration and rapid fire. Those are my two favorite attachments to my sniper rifles. So sniper rifle for long range, and then for your short range, you either want to go with a fully auto rifle or an SMG. Now, the best rifle I could give you is the BAR, which I don't actually have that unlocked for this prestige ranking yet. You could go with the BAR, or you could go with the STG. Those are the two best fully auto rifles. Or you could go with an SMG. And Type 100, I feel like, is without a doubt the best SMG in the game. So either go with the BAR, the STG, or the Type 100 for your secondary weapon. And as far as lethals and tacticals, that's pretty much personal preference. Smoke grenades can be pretty useful, especially if you throw it at the bomb or the bomb site or whatever, because you can mask yourself either from defusing or planting the bomb. So smoke bomb can be useful, but at the same time, it does give you away a little bit. So like I said, tacticals and lethals, that's pretty much personal preference. I just go with the grenade. Or sometimes I go with the concussion grenade too. It doesn't really matter. And yeah, that's it, guys. Like I said, Mountain Division is the only obvious choice for division system. Rifleman, that way you can have a long range weapon and a closer range weapon. Your long range weapon, your best bet will be a sniper rifle. Your close range weapon will be either STG or BAR or Type 100. So that's it, and like I said, anything you want in lethals and tacticals. So that's it. That's my tip for the best search and destroy loadout in Call of Duty World War II. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you guys found this loadout helpful and useful, please let me know down in the comments. I want to know how it's helped you guys. And just once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys in the next video.